I want to teach tonight, I want to teach right now around the idea of being an emotionally intelligent leader. We talk a lot about emotional health. That's important, the emotionally healthy leader, and that's necessary, and there are books for that and maybe a teaching for that at some point. But I want to talk about the emotionally intelligent leader. I think sometimes we are so focused on and passionate about the mission, our job, our role. We can be so busy doing stuff that we don't tap into our intelligence, which we all have. And then sometimes it affects our ability to minister to people at the maximum place or lead people. And so I want to tap into our intellect tonight. So all the smart people said amen. All right. And all the smart people. And I'm not one of those people, but I'm learning and I'm trying my best. Okay. So, but I'm the emotionally intelligent leader. I've got 6 things for you, the emotionally intelligent leader. And here's the first one. The emotionally intelligent leader is aware of their self-health. Aware of their self-health. Practice that all day long, okay? Here's how you do that. If you're intelligent, you'll know where you're at in your soul, okay? First way that you can do that is check your RPMs. And so if you know in a car, when a car is redlining, okay, you need to know yourself enough to know, I am tired, I'm burnt out, I haven't spent any time with God, I'm stressed, I'm struggling, I'm weary. If you are redlining, the worst thing that you can do as a leader, the least intelligent thing that you could do as a leader is to not address it. Is to not pray, talk to somebody, go to your leader, go to your pastor, whoever it is, whatever it is, and say, hey, I'm struggling, I need rest, I need a break. I always say this, if you burn out, it's your fault because you didn't communicate. That's it. So if you communicate and we're mean and horrible, if who you lead up to is like, I don't care, whatever, that needs to be addressed. Come to a higher leader or an elder. You understand what I'm saying? But for the most part, if you go to somebody and say genuinely, respectfully, honorably, hey, I'm struggling right now, I need a breather, I need a rest, I am redlining, right? That's smart of you to do that. Let's help you recover so that you can continue to lead. So you got to check your emotion. You're aware of your self-health. Am I stressed right now? Am I asking myself the right questions? Okay, so emotionally intelligent leaders, in your aware of self-health, you're asking yourself the right questions. Am I mad? Am I bitter? And is that contributing to my redlining? Do I have a sin problem? Do I have a personal problem? Am I angry at something? Am I bitter? Am I offended? And that might contribute to you burning out. And then again, you shouldn't be. You're just mad about something that you need to deal with somebody, with the Lord, in your own peace. You need to sleep on it, right? So you got to ask yourself the right questions. Am I offended? Am I stressed out? Am I tired? Did I not sleep last night? Am I listening to this person or am I just talking? Right? Because sometimes, right? So ask the right questions. Do I need counseling? I think everybody needs counseling. Okay? But is this the appropriate season of my life to pursue that? Right? A self-aware leader who's intelligent is saying, is this the right time of my life to get that counseling? Am I freaking on people? Am I miserable doing what I do? I have had times, listen to this, I have had times in my own journey as the leader of this organization where we've been successful and I've been miserable. And that's a me problem. It's not anybody else's problem, right? Because I've got to go, what's happening in me? What's going on in my own life that I'm miserable right now? I've got to be emotionally healthy and aware. Okay. Listen to this. Sometimes your emotional unhealth can lead to unintended emotional abuse. We are responsible for people, okay? And so if you are emotionally unhealthy and you let that project, and you stay emotionally unhealthy long enough, you let that project onto other people, that could be an unintended way where you actually abuse people and you don't even want to. Okay? How's my spirit? Here's how we help ourselves in these moments. Okay? I'd be winning and miserable because here's what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't define the wins. I wouldn't take care of my soul. And I wouldn't take a break. I can't outwork my own misery. Sometimes I have to take a step back to bring clarity to my own misery. You understand what I'm saying? Success is a mirage. Sometimes what happens is you can be in the desert, and success can look like, you know those old cartoons where it looks like, oh, it's an oasis? That sometimes is what success is. Because there's never enough sales. There's never enough money. There's never enough people. I'm learning this, right? Like I thought, oh, we get to this number, man, I'd be happy. God bless, there's never enough. So I've got to make sure my soul is good. I've got to make sure I'm emotionally healthy, and that way I can keep moving forward. All right, so emotionally intelligent leader is aware of self-health. A second thing is they understand and practice appropriate timing. Emotionally intelligent leaders understand and practice appropriate timing. We understand as good leaders that timing is everything. There's a bad time and a bad way to ask someone to do something. You ready for this? Yeah. Here's when it's a bad time to ask somebody or leverage or use your relational equity. There's a bad time and a bad way. When someone's in transition, so like they just got a new job, or maybe it's a big job, or they just moved, or they just had a wedding, right? It's not a good time to go, hey, could you serve 3 times a month? It's like, I just got married and, whatever, right? You understand? In pain, when someone's in pain. Don't press on somebody when they're in pain. Okay, there was just a death in the family. Well, can you serve this week? Well, the death was Friday. You should be good by Sunday, right? So what we've got to do is be emotionally intelligent and be aware of these things and go, you know what? I should be proactive. It is their week to serve. But I should rally the other team members and go, hey, so-and-so, grandma just died. Can we bail them out this week? That's great. Right? And compromise, in a bad way is to compromise somebody's value system. Now, what I mean by that is your values might be different than their values, right? But don't ask people something that they don't want to say, that's hard for them to say yes to. What do I mean by that? I'll give you just a broad example. Let's say so-and-so's family is in town from out of town. And this is a special thing for them. And they're about to go do something. And this is a rare thing. And they're faithful and they're not blanking on you all the time. It's a good time to celebrate that and alleviate them, and even be proactive in going, hey, enjoy that, go do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right. So emotionally intelligent leaders, they are aware of their self-health. They understand and practice appropriate timing. In their appropriate timing, they check in on people, not just when they're needed, but to show they are wanted. Okay? Listen to this. I often ask the Lord to bring someone to my attention. I ask the Holy Spirit, who do I need to call or text right now? Okay? And sure enough, he does. Just recently, I was sitting, and I try to never waste time. Even when I'm driving, if I'm going somewhere in my commute, Holy Spirit, speak to me. And sometimes when I don't want to be spoken to, and I'm reading a book or something, he likes to speak, but sometimes I go, hey, speak to me. Who do I need to think about? The other day, I was just sitting there, and I was just relaxing, and somebody came to mind, and I said, I need to reach out to them. They're on my heart. And I reached out to them, and literally their response was, oh my goodness, this is crazy, the timing. By the way, I hear that from people all the time because I'm listening for the whole time. I'm thinking about timing, right? And she's like, you would not believe what I'm going through right now. God loves me.
Wow. So good.
Why does God love them? Because he sent me to them. Or how do we know? Because that's what we are. Right? We're leaders. Okay? When you're not bringing something, listen to this. When are you bringing something to your leader is just as important as how. When you bring it is just as important as how. If you see your leader overwhelmed, if you see your direct report overwhelmed, right? How you bring it is just as important as when. They might just need a moment, right? They could be handling a crisis. Don't come to them and add another crisis to them. All right? Okay, so I understand and practice appropriate timing. Here's number 3. We know how to balance the circumstance while still executing the mission. Okay, so emotionally intelligent leaders know how to balance the circumstances while still executing the mission. The person has to outweigh the structure. Yeah. Hear this. We have structure in place to support people. Okay, so sometimes we have to think about, okay, this person, they are the point of the structure. Right. So sometimes I've got to break this, or I've got to adjust this so that the person can be served well. If someone is visiting, okay, and you can tell they are uncomfortable, let's say they're in a lobby, right? Don't immediately go to them and have them fill out a connection card. So what happens a lot of times is like we're trying to check the box off. We're trying to get the job done. Oh, I've got a quota here. You know, I got to write a ticket. You know, I gotta. That's a bad example, but you know, it's like I gotta hurry up and get this many connections. And so no doubt about it, there probably have been times where we have maybe put pressure. Hey, we got to get this. We got to get them to the table. But what I'm doing tonight is I'm giving you permission to use emotional intelligence. If you see somebody struggling, okay, if you see somebody's going through it, maybe don't go, hey, how you doing? What's your name? God bless. Can I walk you over to the table and get a connection card? Maybe they're looking around, and maybe we engage with questions that are not on the list. Yeah. Okay, we might give you a little bit of a structure. Hey, these are good questions. But like, you might have to just listen to the Spirit, or listen to your brain and go, okay, you know, hey, oh, where are you from? Oh my God. Oh, you know, what do you do? Maybe they just need something different than filling out a connection card. If they remember how you made them feel, they'll fill out your darn connection cards. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying we don't have to press and guide. And, you know, I think about this. The other week I was sitting in service in the back of the room at the 10:30. And there was a person I met during the meet and greet time. Hey, how you doing? And I asked, how many times have you been here? I never ask, oh, is this your first time? Because at this point, I can't tell you how many people I keep getting in trouble with. You know, I'm like, oh, I've been here for 6 months. Oh. I mean, it's 3 months, so it's a sign of growth, right? But I don't have to be dumb either. Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, how many times have you been here, or how long you been coming? And then they go, you know, oh, it's my first time. Oh, sweet, where are you from? And I said that, and then I waited till after service, and I stood out here and I watched them walk out, and I said, hey, I know it's your first time. I'd love for you to walk over to this table so I can give you a gift. And while I brought him over, then that's where he filled out the connection card to get the gift. I didn't make it about the connection card. I made it about the gift. You know what I'm saying? Okay, a handoff, listen to this, a handoff to the right person might be just as important to the system as the next step in your respective area. So you see somebody that is in dire straits, maybe they need the prayer team instead of the greeting team. So like, okay, I see somebody and like, yes, I want to get this done, right? Trust me, I want connection cards. I want people's email. I want your phone number. I want your address. I want you to fill out your reoccurring giving on the spot. Okay, but like, I got to care for people better than that, and I got to use emotional intelligence. So like sometimes a handoff to, and I'm thinking like, man, they just need the prayer team right now, or like, oh, you got 6 kids in front of you? Hey, if you got a second, I'd love to introduce you to our youth director. He's standing outside. I'm using emotional intelligence, okay? And I would say this too, adding to another team is adding to the mission. So I know we want to build our teams. I love that about you, right? I know you want to build, but if they get added to a team, we still win. Yeah, that's so good. Now, I understand and I know that sometimes it's like, oh man, the pressure, I've got to build my team and all these different things. But at the same time, again, that goes back to number 1, I need help. Ask for it. All right, number 4, okay, knows how to press and who to rest. Right? So as an emotionally intelligent leader, I know how to press people, but I also know who to rest. Some people need to be pressed and others need the rest. Emotionally intelligent leaders know who and when. So let me give you an example. If you have a faithful team member, okay, and like something's coming up, it's probably not necessary to press them. They've shown their faithfulness. Like, man, release, oh, I get it. I mean, do your thing. I got you. But you might have somebody who's newer or flaky, or somebody that you have deeper relationship with. Like, you need not be afraid to press them a little bit and say, you're not canceling this week. Sorry, love you, get saved. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, but like we have as much to say based on how much we put in that relationship bank account. So do you know, like, it goes back to this principle, like, you know you're feeling good when you get paid, you pay all your bills, you still got money left over, you're like, man, it's going to be a good Friday night, you know? Like, when you have that with people, that's a good feeling. Right. You don't have to, most of us don't have positional authority equity. Most of us have to build that. So like, at this juncture in the journey, you know, like, there are some pastors, like, that I meet. Even this week, I meet, and like literally I can tell them things because I know they're watching me and they're looking up to our journey. And like, I don't need a bunch of relational equity. I have to not be a jerk, but like they can ask me a couple questions and I can press them immediately because I have some positional authority equity already because they're watching my journey. Right. We don't have that with everybody. So we have to develop that relationship and then press when necessary. Okay, I'll give you an example, okay? Another example. I remember a couple years ago, Grace was about to quit. And she was so maxed, so emotionally exhausted. And I wasn't fully aware as an emotionally intelligent leader. And I didn't recognize how much she had on her plate. And part of this was my fault. And I could tell. And she, at that point, she had gotten a job offer that was a whole lot more money. And still is, probably, I won't remind you. And like, just feeling like I need a way out. And I was just like, in that conversation listening, and I'm going, she needs to just go get rest. Like I know there's a lot of stuff coming, but I'll just pick up the slack. So I said, tomorrow, I want you to leave and go somewhere weird that you like to go where there's like fields and mountains and things. And I don't want to hear from you. You don't talk about it. Just go rest. Just go rest. Get out of here. Because had I let her, she just kept working and working until she just died, you know? And it's like, go. But I knew like I needed to give her rest and not press on her in that moment. But I should have been thinking about that before she got to that place of combustion. Of course, she went away, she rested, came back with more vision, clear, called. Thank God I did that, because had you not went away, Grace wouldn't be here today. Right. And so, but I wish back then I would have known what I've known now, and I would have saw the signs, and I could have said, you need to go away sooner than that, so we didn't have to have a big, I don't want to sit in a room and girls crying and stuff. That's a lot for me. So I could have saved myself from that drama. Read situations, scenarios, and people. Ask the right questions. Listen to this. This will help you in all areas. Your marriage, every tough conversation, everything. Never accuse. Give the benefit of the doubt. Use people's names appropriately. Don't say him or her. Listen more than talk. Agree on how to move forward. And don't use absolute statements. Don't use absolute statements. I'm working on that. I love an absolute statement. I think I invented them. But things I'm learning. All right? Number 5, an emotionally intelligent leader creates margin and stays in preparation mode. Okay? My favorite quote is, sweat in preparation so you don't bleed in battle. Think about that. If you sweat in preparation, you won't bleed in battle. Most of our stress comes from a lack of preparation. Be aware of your calendar, check it often, and live by it. Die by it, live by it, die by it. What's your calendar say? Think about your calendar. I think about my calendar all the time. I'm always thinking about my calendar. I got a lot going on, and so do you, right? Lauren and I have been going to counseling. We've been just trying to improve our marriage to even a higher level. And the counselor said, Laura, you have to stop thinking hour by hour. Joey, you have to stop thinking all the time, month by month. So you got to come to the middle. And I give you that illustration because for us, it's creating rubs. I'm like, Lauren, think beyond for lunch today. Joey, you don't have to live in September. Yeah. You know? And so for us, we need to come to the middle. What I'm encouraging some of you is move beyond where you're at. Wow. For some of you who live so far in the future, you're miserable, you can't do anything today. And others of you, you live by moment, hour by hour, and you can't get anywhere and you create stress for yourself. Find a happy medium. Be proactive, not reactive regarding scheduling. That creates stress. Think about your life in seasons. Plan your life in sections and lead people through phases. So what do I mean by that? Think about your life in seasons, right? It's the winter, summer, spring, fall, right? I'm thinking in seasons. I've got this push coming up. I'm embracing that in my mind, but I'm planning in phases. I'm planning in sections. So if you think of seasons as a full season, sections might be games, right? I'm planning in sections. It's like, okay, for this month, right? This month is not a season, but I'm working on this month or the next couple months. And then you're taking people through phases. People are not where we want them to be always, but we're not giving up on them. We're taking them through phases, right? We've got mile markers and benchmarks for people, right? So this helps us create margin, and I'm always in preparation mode. I'm always thinking, okay, I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking, hey, next couple months, right? I'm dreaming. I just give myself margin. I don't pack myself so full that I can't breathe and can't think. Write your goals, give yourself deadlines. Write your goals, give yourself deadlines. All right, last one, number 6. Emotionally intelligent leaders are always looking, listening, and learning. Always looking, listening, and learning. I can almost always feel transitions coming. You can ask any of our location pastors. I'm observing, I'm looking at people, I'm thinking, and I'm not just going, I'm looking at people who are just going through the motions. I'm listening for the Spirit. I'm listening. I'm observing. I just feel it. I can almost guarantee. I can say this is about to happen. It's my intuition. I'm using my emotional intelligence. I'm observing. I'm thinking beyond. And why I'm able to do that is I'm thinking beyond the moment. I'm thinking about all the factors that might be going into somebody's life in at play. I can feel transitions, and you need to feel. Leaders need to have a gut feel what's happening with the people that I lead. I'm feeling it. I'm in touch. I'm praying for them. I'm thinking about them. I'm engaged. I know what's going on in their life. When I do, I can feel what's going on. I am observing, listen to this, I'm observing trends and learning who is failing and why. Who is trying out-of-the-box things, and who is succeeding. I'm always thinking about trends. What's coming? I'm an anticipatory leader, right? Emotional intelligence tells me I need to anticipate. Things are changing. The world is changing. The phone that you use today, it will be insufficient in a couple months, Right? Things change so fast. I'm constantly thinking about what's the next thing. It's attention because I'm enjoying today. I love what's happening today, but I'm not staying here. I'm thankful, I'm grateful, it's attention. It is not a problem to be solved, it's attention to be managed. I'm enjoying, but I'm anticipating. Things are changing. I'm thinking about what's ahead. I'm reading, right? I'm looking, listening, and I'm learning. I'm listening, this is the last little sub point. I'm listening to those concerned, and I'm asking how things can do better. There's truth in every concern, but I take to heart those who are committed and who bring those concerns to me. So any old fool can tell me they're concerned about something, and because I'm an emotionally intelligent leader, I'm guarding things from getting to my heart. I'm using my head, and I recognize I can eat some meat here. It's a little bit of meat, and they're crazy. But what's the truth? Is there a little bit of truth there? And I'm hungry for truth. I want to get better. So if there's just a little piece of chicken on that chicken wing, I'm going to eat it. I'm going to find it.
That's good.
And I'm not going to be offended by it because I want to be better. Now, that's a crazy person, right? That's a nobody in my life, okay? And I don't mean that anyone think I'm not calling God's people nobody, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then if you or somebody important, if they're bringing a concern to me, like I need to sit down and I need to eat all that. And I need to be quiet long enough to go, I'm looking, I'm listening, what is true? And my first response can't be defense. It just has to be, they're giving me a chicken sandwich right now. And it's a little spicy and it's hurting my tongue. But this is good going down. I need this. I need this. Once again, this message is brought to you by Chick-fil-A that I think about every day. Right? So, okay, so let's recap and then we'll get out of here, okay? We've got to be emotionally intelligent leaders. We can't just lead from our heart. We've got to lead with our head. Now, it starts in the heart. We got the mission in our heart. We got this thing hidden right here, but it can't stop here. We got to put some brains to it, okay? Emotionally intelligent leaders are aware of their self-health. They're constantly taking an inventory of their RPMs. Are they redlining? Are they okay? Asking the right questions to themselves. Emotionally healthy leaders understand and practice appropriate timing, okay? It's how is just as important as when. We are balancing the circumstance while still executing the mission. So we're thinking about the circumstance, and we understand that something has to be accomplished, but we remember we build structure for people that we care about. We know how to press and who to rest. We are in relationship enough with people that we know, okay, I can press somebody here, I can push them a little further, and I also know when to rest these people, who and when. We learn, emotionally intelligent leaders create margin, and we stay in preparation mode. We're thinking about the future. We're also living in the present. We're not taking on too much. We are creating margin so that we can think, but we're also thinking about the future, preparing and developing people for the future. We're anticipating seasons. And then lastly, we're always looking, listening, and learning. Somebody's got something to say, I will try to find the meat in whatever it is. I will not allow this to hurt me or affect me. And if it does, I'll deal with it. I'll go to somebody. I'll give it to God, right? I understand that words can hurt, okay? But I'm managing that because instead of using that as pain and getting to my heart, what I'm doing is I'm using it as fuel to become a better leader. All right? That's the emotionally intelligent leader.